All right, brothers and sisters, once again, Facebook Live 2019. I'm coming back and doing this video once again. The first video that I made was entitled Cast Not Thy Pearls Before Swine. What do that actually mean, to cast not thy pearls before swine? I'm going to break it down again because the first video that I did the other night was very lagging. It was hesitant, and it just had a lot of skips in it. So I'm doing a second take. Hopefully this video will be better. Topic of discussion is, what does it mean to cast not thy pearls before swine? So I'm going into this book, chapter, and verse in the Bible, and I'm going to expound and break it down for you guys. What do it actually means in the Bible when it states, "Cast not thy pearls before swine"? So you're gonna need for this lesson, you're gonna need a King James Holy Bible for this lesson, and also you will need the Apocrypha, guys. You will need the Apocrypha books that was once part of the King James, but however they was removed from the Bible during the 18th century. So we see Brian Carter is watching. Peace and blessings, my brother. Glad to have you on tonight. Hope all is well with the fam. We see Jimmy Blake is watching. Appreciate you, my brother. Glad to have you on tonight, man. Hope all is well with family and friends. We see May June is watching. And we glad to have you. We glad to have all you guys on tonight concerning this lesson. And so I'm going to go ahead and commence with the lesson. I don't want to prolong any more time, guys. So once again, I'm going to expound. I'm going to break down simply, truly, what it means in the Bible when it says, "Cast not thy pearls before swine." I'm going to break that down. So once again, you will need the King James Holy Bible, and you will also need the Apocryphal books, and also a composition book and some pens and pencils to take notes. So here we go, guys. The first book, chapter, and verse that I will be starting off with is the book of Matthew. All right. May June asks, "How are you doing, my friend?" I'm doing well, man. Hope all is well with you too. You know, pretty much ain't nothing changed. Same old thing, man. Just maintaining in the faith. But anyways, I'm doing good, my brother. Hope you guys is doing good as well. So the first book, chapter, and verse, we're going into the Bible. And let's go to the New Testament. So guys, if you have your Bibles out, please follow me to the New Testament. The New Testament, or what some may call the New Covenant. And we're going to start in chapter 7. So we going to the New Testament, my brothers and sisters, whosoever watching. We going to the New Testament, and I'm going to begin in the New Testament. I'm going to begin with Matthew, which is the first gospel of the New Testament. I'm going to begin with Matthew chapter 7, and I'm going to read 6 verse. So that's Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. I'm going to break this down, guys, so listen up. "Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you." So from the top, guys, Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. "Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you." So let me break that down. A lot of brothers and sisters is finding that very difficult. They don't over enter and understand what that means. So I'm going to break it down. Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. Once I break this down, guys, I will be out and about. So listen to me. First and foremost, you must realize who is saying this. Who is saying this? In Matthew chapter 7, verse 6, who is speaking here? The Messiah is speaking. Christ is speaking, okay? Yahweh Shai, who the world knows as Jesus Christ. He is the one that's speaking in Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. Christ is the one that's saying, give not which is holy into the dogs. So who is he talking to? Who is he talking to, man? Who is he talking to? Brian Carter said that shirt hard. Where you got it, man? I made it. I made it. I made things in that nature, man. I made the shirt, so I appreciate you, my brother. Yeah, I made this shirt, man. So yeah, thank you. But anyways, I'm gonna try to stay on the topic. So Matthew chapter 7 verse 6, give not that which is holy into dogs, right? Give not which is holy into dogs. So the Messiah is telling the Israelites this. The Messiah is telling the Jews this, guys. He's telling the Jews this. When he says, give not which is holy unto the dogs, he's telling the Jews that. He's telling his people. The Messiah is telling his nations of people to give not which is holy unto the dogs. We got to figure out what is holy. So in Matthew chapter 7 verse 6, it says, give not that which is holy to the dogs. So let's head to Romans 7 and 12 to get the precept. Romans 7 and 12. Like I said, I did this the other night, but the video didn't turn out good, so I'm redoing the video. So we need to find out what is holy, because the Messiah said, give not which is holy to dogs. So let's head over to Romans chapter 7 verse 12. Romans 7 verse 12. This is what it reads. It says, wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just, and good. So according to Romans 7:12, it says that the law is holy. So go back to Matthew chapter 7 and verse 6. Give not that which is holy into dogs. So what is holy? According to Romans 7:12, it said the law is holy. So don't get a law into the dogs. Don't teach the law into the dogs. Is it talking about literal dogs here? Is it talking about white English bulldog? Is it talking about pit bull, K9, German shepherd? Is it talking about dogs in that manner? No. This is a metaphor. This is an allegory. This is a similitude. It's figurative. Christ is speaking figuratively here. He says, give not which is holy. We already saw what is holy. Romans 7:12, the law is holy. Give not which is holy. Don't teach the law, which is holy, into the dogs. So what is the dogs referring to? The dogs is referring to Gentile heathen nations. Nations that are not from the house of Israel. Nations that are not Israelites. This is what the Most High Son is talking about. He's telling the Jews, he's telling the Israelites to not teach the law, statutes, and commandments to outsiders, such as heathens and Gentiles. They are referred to dogs. Let me give you a prime example. Let's go to Matthew 15:21. So, who did Christ refer to as dogs? So let's go to Matthew 15:21 and find out. Matthew 15:21. Okay. Let's find out Matthew 15:21. So here we go. Matthew 15:21. We're gonna find out in reference who are the dogs. Matthew 15:21. It says, Matthew chapter 15:21. Then Yahushua, who they called Jesus, went thence and departed into the coasts of Tyre and Zidon. Okay. Matthew 15:22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coasts and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil. So you had this, the woman of Canaan that came out and was speaking to the Messiah, telling the Messiah to have mercy on her because her daughter was grievously vexed with a devil. All right, Matthew 15:23. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cries after us. So you can clearly see right there, the Messiah wasn't paying this woman no damn attention, man. He didn't give a damn about that Canaanite woman, man. Matthew 15:23. But he answered her not a word. Even after the woman was the woman was pleading with the Messiah, begging the Messiah to have mercy on her and to heal her daughter, because her daughter was grievously vexed with a devil. And what did the Messiah do? The Messiah looked at that Canaanite woman. He didn't even say a damn word to her, man. You know why? Because that Canaanite woman was not an Israelite. That Canaanite woman was not a Jew. And the Messiah was not dealing with people that was on the outside of his lineage. He was not dealing with non-Israelite people. The Messiah, his disciples, they were all Jews. They was all Israelites. And if you was not from the nation of Israel, the Messiah was not dealing with you, man. This is why he did not answer that woman of Canaan. This is why Matthew 15:23, but he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she cries after us. Matthew 15:24, but he answered and said, this is what he tells that Canaanite woman, right? Let's see what he tells that Canaanite woman. Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but into the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So, all around, guys, who was the Messiah sent to? Matthew 15:24 tells you who the Messiah was certainly sent to. It exclusively tells you who the Messiah was sent to in Matthew 15:24. He said, I'm not sent but into the lost sheep of the house of Israel. This is why the Messiah didn't answer that Canaanite woman. This is why it tells you he answered her not a word. Matthew 15:25. Then came she and worshiped him, saying, Lord, help me. Matthew 15:26. But he answered and said, now this is what he tells, listen up, guys. According to Matthew 15:26, this is what the Messiah tells that Canaanite woman, that non-Israelite Canaanite woman, that heathen, that Gentile. This is what the Messiah tells her. Matthew 15:26. But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. You see that? The Messiah called that Canaanite woman a dog, y'all. Why? Because she was not of his nation. She was not an Israelite. She was a Gentile. She was a heathen. And anyone that is not Israelites, anyone that is not from the house of Israel, anyone that is not a Jew, if you are a Gentile or if you are a heathen, if you're not an Israelite, you was always classified as a dog in the Bible. All right. So guys, we know today that the modern day Israelites in the here and now, they are the blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans. According to the biblical prophecies, blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans, we are the 12 tribes of Israel today. So, if you're not black, Hispanic descent, or Native American, you is not an Israelite. Okay? You is not an Israelite. If you're not so-called Negro or ending in descent, you're not an Israelite, guys. You are a heathen automatically by default. You see? And you got to know who you are in order to enter and understand the Bible. You must know who you are. Okay? May June says, I have to run back to work, my brother. I like what you're doing. Keep it up. The Lord is your strength. Well, yeah, I thank you, my brother. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. May June, appreciate that, my brother. But anyways, yeah, I understand. You got to go back to work. You know, we got to get it in. But anyways, I'm going to continue with the lesson. Appreciate your time, my brother. But as I was saying in Matthew 15:26, he tells that Canaanite woman that it's not meet to take the children's bread. Now, what is the children's bread? What is the children's bread, man? What is the children's bread? The children's bread is the word, man. You can say that the children, because the children is the Israelites. Matthew 15:26, but he answered and said, it's not meet to take the children's bread. The children are the children of Israel, man. What is the children's bread? The children's bread is this Bible, man. That's the bread, man. That's why in Matthew chapter 6, beginning with verse 9, it elaborates on the Our Father prayer. There's a certain phrase in the Our Father prayer where it states, give us this day our daily bread. What is the daily bread? The word, man. What else is the daily bread? We're going to find out. Because the Messiah said it's not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it to you dogs in Matthew 15:26. Those dogs is in reference to non-Israelite people. But we got to find out what the children's bread is. Okay. The children's bread is, let's go to St. John 6:35. St. John 6:35 to discover St. John 6 and 35 to discover what is the children's bread. St. John 6 and 35. Here we go, guys. And Yahushua, who they call Jesus, said unto them, said it to the Jews, the Israelites. Matthew, Salak, St. John chapter 6 verse 35. And Yahushua said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believed on me shall never thirst. So who is the bread of life? The Messiah is the bread of life, man. The Messiah himself is the bread of life. And also these scriptures, man. This Bible, this word, man. Okay? So that's what the Messiah was telling that Canaanite woman in Matthew chapter, I believe this was in Matthew. I lost my spot, guys. Wait a minute. This was in Matthew chapter 15, verse 26. This is what the Messiah was telling that Canaanite woman. It's not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs. Because this royal knowledge, the law, statutes, and commandments, is not meet to teach Gentiles and heathens the law, statutes, and commandments. It's not meet to teach them the law, man, because the law wasn't given to the heathen and the Gentile. So who are the heathen and the Gentiles referred to in the Bible? They are always referred to as dogs. All right. So let's go back to Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. Give not that which is holy. You know what's holy. Romans 7:12 tells you the law is holy. So don't teach the law to the dogs. We showed you a prime example just a while ago in Matthew chapter 15, verses 21 through 28. The Canaanite woman was a dog. Now I'm going to show you another, Exodus 11 and 7. So let's go to Exodus chapter 11, verse 7, in reference to dogs. Dogs have always been referred to heathen Gentile nations. Exodus 11 and 7. A cross-reference, a precept to show you who are the dogs. Another precept. Exodus 11 and 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. You see, and we know dogs don't speak. Dogs don't have capability to communicate as we do. So in Exodus 11 verse 7, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. That's talking about against God's people. Shall not these heathens and these Gentiles boast and brag and scoff at God's people. The chosen people, which are the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans, shall not a dog move their tongue. These heathen nations, these Gentiles ain't got no goddamn business putting their mouth on God's people, scorning and scoffing and ridiculing God's people. That's what it's talking about. Because I'm going to show you in reference to Exodus 11 and 7, who are these dogs. So it says in Exodus 11 and 7, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know how the Lord does put a difference between Egyptians and Israel. So he put a damn difference between the Egyptians and Israel. So we're not the Egyptians because he put a difference between Egyptians and Israel. Even though the Egyptians and Israelites were both black, he put a difference between Egypt and he put a difference between Israel. So who is in reference to the dogs in Exodus 11 verse 7? It's the Egyptians. You see? And the Egyptians are not Israelites. So any nation that is not Israelites, any Gentile nation that is not Israelite, that is not from the house of Jacob, is automatically by default counted as being a dog in the scriptures, man. I think I don't stated my claim enough. I need to move on. Okay, now, May June says, keep preaching. Keep it up, my brother. Keep talking and keep teaching. Don't stop. I appreciate that, May June. Jaden Wheeler says, I have a serious question. Jaden Wheeler, I would be glad to answer your question, my brother. Let me pull out a couple more book chapter and verses, and Jaden Wheeler, feel free to drop down whatever you want to ask me, man. All right. So we see DeLance Johnson. Good to have you, my brother. Hope all is well. DeLance Johnson, my man, my guy. I'm glad to see you on tonight, my brother. This is a wonderful lesson we are having. And yeah, stay tuned in, man. So now, I think I state my claim already. So let's go back to let's go back to Matthew, the 7th chapter, verse 6. So I think I partially broke down Matthew chapter 7, verse 6 already. So you guys should be pretty much getting the picture now. Matthew 7, verse 6. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs. We know what is holy. The law is holy, according to Romans 7:12. So don't teach the law to the dogs. Who are the dogs? We showed you in Matthew 15:21 to 28. The Canaanite woman was counted as a dog. We just showed you also in Exodus, the 11th chapter, verse 7, that the Egyptians was counted as dogs. So pretty much Gentile heathen nations was referred to dogs. So you're not to teach the laws to the Gentiles and the heathens. You're not to give this royal knowledge. You're not to get these laws, statutes, and commandments up and try to edify these Gentiles. If you are Israelite, blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans, we are the Israelites. If you are from the house of Israel, do not give which is holy into the dogs, meaning the other nations that are not Israelites, in reference to the so-called white man, Chinese, Japanese, East Indians, Africans, Arabs. All those nations are not Israelites. Okay? And so, give not which is holy into the dogs. It also says in Matthew 7, verse 6, neither cast ye your pearls before swine. Now, what is the pearls? The pearls is this royal knowledge that the Heavenly Father have given the nation of Israel. Okay? Do not cast your pearls before swine. Now, swine. The swine, another word for the swine is the pig. Okay? Another swine is the pig. And that's also referred to Gentiles and heathen nations. Lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. So, if you are Israelite, blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans, do not waste your time trying to edify these Gentile nations, because this is what the Messiah said. When the Messiah walked the earth 2,000 years ago, he was not teaching Gentiles and heathens. He was only teaching the house of Israel. He was only edifying the house of Israel. And he told his disciples and many other Israelites that cast not, do not give which is holy into the dogs. All right. So we're going to go on, guys. Let's go to Isaiah 42:8 in reference. Do not give what is holy to the dogs. If you are Israelite, don't waste your time trying to teach these Gentiles and these heathens, because they're not Israelites and the Bible is not for them and salvation is not for them. Isaiah 42:8. Let's go to Isaiah 42:8, guys. You got to know who you are to understand the Bible, man. Isaiah 42:8. It says in Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 8. It says, I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. So according to Isaiah 42:8, he says, I am the Lord, that is my name. Now we know Lord is just a title. The actual name of the Heavenly Father, the Creator, is Yahweh, which is Yah-He-Hawa, exists. So he exists, Yahweh. That's his true name. So I am the Lord Yahweh, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another. What does he mean when he says in Isaiah 42:8, my glory will I not give to another? That meaning, that's talking about the law, statutes, and commandments that he established through the nation of Israel. He said that he would not give it to another. If you're not an Israelite, tough luck. He's not going to give his glory to another. His glory resides within the nation of Israel, man. He's not going to give it to another. Let's go to Psalms 119, 142, guys. Simple verses. Psalms 119, 142 tells you. Psalms 119, 142. Well, not Psalms 119, 142. What's the one I'm looking for when it says he shows his statute to Jacob? Psalms 147. I believe it's Psalms 147, beginning with the 19th verse, guys. You got to know these Bible verses. Psalms 147, beginning with the 19th verse. He says, Psalms 147, verse 19. He shows his word into Jacob. Now, who is Jacob? Jacob is another name for Israel because Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Who are the Israelites? Blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans. You are the descendants of Jacob today. According to the biblical prophecies, according to Deuteronomy 28 chapter, according to Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, according to Leviticus 26 chapter, according to Genesis 49 chapter. You are the true descendants of the ancient Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans. Because they got us gone in America, thinking that we everybody else. We don't even know who we are. We are the Israelites, guys. Okay, so Psalms 147 verse 19. He showed his word into Jacob, man, and his statutes and his judgments into Israel. That's his glory, man. That's why he said his glory he would not give to another. He showed his word into Jacob. He showed these laws, statutes, and commandments to the house of Israel. And Moses was the lawgiver, which was a Levite, which was an Israelite. So he showed his word into Jacob, his statutes and his judgments into Israel. Psalms 147 verse 20. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So the Most High don't deal with heathens. The Most High don't deal with Gentiles. Even the Gentiles in the New Testament are dispersed Israelites that strayed away from the covenants. You see? So it clearly tells you in Psalms 147 verse 20 that the Most High has not dealt so with any other nation besides the nation of Israel. And as for his judgments, as for his laws, statutes, and commandments, his policies, the other nations have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. This is Psalms 147 verse 20. The other nations have not known them because he have not established anything with the other nations, guys. Listen to me. He has not. Okay, we'll show you. This is, let's go here. Let's go to Psalms 78 and 5. Psalms 78 and 5. 78 verse 5. So Psalms chapter 78, beginning with the 5th verse. And it reads, Psalms 78 verse 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob. See, that's the only nation that the Most High established a testimony in. He established a testimony in Jacob, which is Israel, blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans today, and appointed a law in Israel. So he appointed his law in Israel. Never did it show me in the Bible if you can find it. Never did it say in the Bible that God established and gave his law to all nations collectively. It never said that in the Bible. It never says in the Bible where God established a testimony to everyone. Because the only testimony he established with, according to Psalms 78 verse 5, he established a testimony in Jacob and he appointed a law in Israel. The only nation of people that was given the law, the policies of God, the commandments, was the nation of Israel. No one else. This Bible is only for the blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are the Israelites. So you white people can kick rocks. You Chinese people, you Japanese people, you East Indians, you Arabs, you Africans, you Assyrians. You can kick rocks because it's not for you. The scriptures is not for you. It says it clearly in Psalm 78 verse 5, who he established a testimony, what nation that he established a testimony in. He established in the testimony in Jacob and he appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that they should make them known to their children. So the only nation out here that's supposed to be teaching their children these laws, statutes, and commandments is the nation of Israel, which are the blacks, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans. Never did he elect another nation outside of the house of Israel and appointed a law into that nation. From Genesis to Revelation, the whole entire Bible is talking about the nation of Israel. But no, men today have crept in with these false doctrines and diverse teachings and have misled a lot of our people to believe that the Bible is an international book and that it's just for everybody. And never did it say that. This is why I was breaking down, cast not thy pearls before swine. Because if you're an Israelite and you know your heritage and you know what tribe you're from, you're not going to go out and edify some heathen nation or some Gentile nation. You're not going to spend all damn day trying to break down the scriptures with a white, so-called white man. When the so-called white people are Edomites, they're not Israelites. What about the Chinese? The Chinese people are Moabites. They're not Israelites. What about the Japanese? The Japanese are Ammonites. What about the Africans? They are Hamites. You see? What about the Egyptians? Mizraimites. What about the Arabs? They Ishmaelites. What about the Greeks? They Javanites, man. You gonna waste your damn time trying to cast your pearls before these heathens? The Bible tells you don't do that. The Messiah said it best in Matthew 7, verse 6. Give not which is holy into the dogs. So if you are an Israelite, you're going to be reluctant when it comes down to these laws, statutes, and commandments. If they not from your nation, don't teach them. If they not an Israelite, tell them to kick rocks. You should only be concerned with bringing salvation to the house of Israel. No other heathen nation out there, man. All right? DeLance Johnson, May June, Brian Carter, Jimmy Blake. Guys, listen up. It's official. It is exclusive. Listen up. So, according to Matthew 7 and 6, we don't supposed to give what is holy to these dogs and these damn pigs, which is the other nations that are not Israelites. All right, guys. Now the Messiah was stating that in Matthew 7 and 6 when he says, give not which is holy unto the dogs. But where did the Messiah actually pull that from? He actually, the original verse is in the Apocrypha, guys. I'm going to show you. According to Matthew 7 and 6, the real original verse is in the Apocrypha. Let's go to Baruch 4 and 3. Let's go to Baruch, or you can say Barak. Baruch 4 and 3 in the Apocrypha. And I'm going to show you this is where it was pulled from. Baruch 4 and 3, guys. I hope you are having a wonderful time. Baruch 4 and 3. This is where the Messiah actually pulled Matthew 7 and 6 from. As soon as I find the book of Baruch, I'm going into the 4th chapter and I'm going to read the 3rd verse, guys. I'm trying not to put my phone down to find it, but I might have to. I might have to put my phone down to find the book of Baruch and the Apocrypha. I'm trying not to, though. I think I'm almost there. So Baruch 4 and 3. Okay, here we go. This is in the guys. This is in the Apocryphal books. Baruch 4 and 3 is the original scripture to Matthew 7 and 6. Baruch 4 and 3. It says in Baruch chapter 4, verse 3. It says, give not thy honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. You see that, guys? This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 3 in the Apocrypha. This is where the Messiah got this from, because during the Messiah's time, 2,000 years ago, when the Messiah walked this earth, the New Testament was not established. The New Testament was not even thought of. It was not even written when the Messiah walked the earth. So what did the Messiah study from? He studied from the Tanakh, which is also known as the Old Testament, from Genesis to Malachi. And he also read the Apocryphal books from the beginning of 1st and 2nd Ezra, stopping on 1st and 2nd Maccabees. So what did the Messiah study in his time? The Messiah studied the Tanakh, which is the 39 books of the Old Testament, and he also studied the Apocryphal books. This is what the Messiah studied in his time. So when the Messiah is quoting these things in the New Testament, some of these precept goes back to the Apocryphal books, and some of these precept goes back to the Old Testamental books. Okay, guys? Like in this case for Matthew 7 and 6, when he says, give not which is holy to dogs, that goes back to Baruch chapter 4, verse 3 in the Apocrypha. Give not thy honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to the strange nation. So in Baruch 4 and 3, it says strange nation. In Matthew 7 and 6, it says dogs. So we know who are the dogs, these strange nations. A strange nation is a nation that is not within the house of Israel. So guys, I hope you're following me. You can also go to Sirach chapter 12 verse 5 in the Apocrypha. We are still in the Apocrypha books. You can go to Sirach 12 and 5 as another cross reference to give not which is holy to dogs. So let's head over to Sirach 12 and 5. Sirach is also known as Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. So let's go over to Sirach 12 and 5 to see what else concerning give not which is holy to the dogs. That is Sirach, aka Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 12, verse 5. It says, do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread, and give it not to him, lest he overmaster thee thereby, for else thou shalt receive twice as much as evil for all the good thou shalt have done unto him. So this is Sirach, aka Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 5. It says, do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. See, and we already know that the heathens, Gentiles are ungodly. What makes them ungodly is that they wasn't given the law. All right, hold back thy bread. What does that mean? This royal knowledge, these scriptures, this Bible. Hold back thy bread. Don't waste your time trying to teach a heathen or a Gentile if you're an Israelite. According to Sirach, aka Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 5 in the Apocrypha. Hold back your bread and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee. Now, the Messiah kind of reworded it differently in Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. He said, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. So you can see that the Messiah was heavily studying the Apocryphal books, and a lot of things that he said came from these Apocryphal books, guys. All right. So, yeah. Cast not thy pearls before swine, Israel. Okay. Let's go to Proverbs 23 and 9. Proverbs 23 and 9. In the Bible, in your King James Bible. Proverbs 23 and 9. All right. Let's review that right quick, guys, if you don't mind. Proverbs 23. I thank you guys for sacrificing your time. You are being edified, guys. Like always, Proverbs 23 and 9. This is what it says in reference to cast not thy pearls before swine or the dogs. Proverbs 23 and 9. It says, Proverbs 23 and 9, speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. So don't waste your time trying to edify a fool, man. Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise thy wisdom, because he's gonna exploit the wisdom that you bringing him. So speak not in the ears of a fool. Who are fools? Most likely heathens and Gentiles that don't give a damn about us as a nation. All right. Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise thy wisdom and thy words. Okay. And that's in reference to give not which is holy to the dogs, and cast your pearls before swine, guys. So let's go back to Matthew now in the New Testament, Matthew 7 and 6. See if we have anything left, guys. Matthew 7 and 6. I pretty much covered that. So now you know, give not which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. Matthew chapter 7, verse 6. Now you know the over-entering understanding on that verse, guys. Now you should know. Tell your family and friends. Edify your family and friends. Now I'm going to get to the questions, guys. Jaden Wheeler says I have a serious question. Now we finna get to the questions, and then I will close out. Thank you for your time. So we're going to get to the question. All right, guys. If you have any questions, DeLance Johnson, if you have any questions concerning this Bible, concerning anything, any book, chapter, verse in the Bible, feel free, my brother. I would be happy to answer your questions to the best of my ability. DeLance Johnson. If you have any questions in the Bible. Jaden Wheeler. If you have any questions in the Bible, feel free to just lay them out, and I will try my best to expound on the questions. May June. If you have any questions concerning the Bible. Brian Carter. If you have any questions concerning the scriptures, the Bible, please feel free to lay them out. All right. Also, Jimmy Blake. If you have any questions concerning the scriptures, any book, chapter, or verses concerning the King James Holy Bible, please lay them out right now, guys. I'm on the verge of closing. I'm on the verge of closing down for tonight. All right. It's getting pretty late and I have to attend work tomorrow. So if guys, okay, if you guys have any questions, all right, guys. All right. Oh man, I think I'm losing connection, guys. I think it's doing the same thing that it was doing last night. We see Joe McDuffie. Joe McDuffie, Abba, be sure, listen, be sure to review this lesson because I'm on the verge of closing it out. And then you just happen to, so yeah, be sure. Be sure to view all guys, all my followers that's watching. Be sure to review this lesson if you tuned in during the last minute. Be sure to look at this lesson, guys.